Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Caught on the Mic. I am Michael Clark, and it is Dynasty Combat Sports Week with Caught on the Mic. I have 4 unique episodes in preparation for Spring Brawl 2025, taking place this Saturday night at the Pinnacle Bank Arena in Lincoln, Nebraska. And today's episode is an exciting one. She is the voice of Dynasty Combat Sports. She's also a DJ by profession. She is a multi-sport athlete, including having her own 2-0 record in the sport of MMA. She is an anti-bullying advocate, and she's an all-around fantastic person. Alexis Myers joins me on the podcast today. As always, listener and viewer discretion is advised. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of Caught on the Mic. It is that week. It is Dynasty Combat Sports Week with Caught on the Mic. I got really ambitious and I decided to do a metric crap ton of episodes leading up to the May 3rd fight at Pinnacle Bank Arena, Dynasty Combat Sports Spring Brawl. And my next guest is no stranger to any of you. You have seen her face light up the octagon, announcing your favorite local fighters. Alexis Myers, how the heck are you?
Mike on the mic. What's going on, man?
Oh, this is awesome. When Henry suggested this, he was like, why haven't you hit up Alexis? And I'm like, oh my gosh, like Dynasty Combat Sports announce team, like let's assemble.
Yeah, it's been a ball.
Yeah, so how long have you been doing the ring announcing for Dynasty now?
It's going on. It'll be a year in June. So I feel like times flew really fast. Between my first little intro there and then just going with the flow until this moment. So yeah, it's been a ride. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed getting to know the fighters and being their support system throughout that night, and just giving them a good intro to help them encourage them throughout their fight, because everyone always remembers how they're announced, so I just want to make sure that I do a good job for them. That's what it's all about. It's all about the fighters. It's all about promoting them and getting their name out there and making sure that they're getting the exposure that they need as well, because being in the fight world's tough, and it's all about who you know. It's all about who knows you as well. So that's just the goal, is just to get them more exposure, to bring more exposure to Dynasty overall, bring more exposure to combat sports in Nebraska. That's the goal.
I love that. It sounds like you and I are so much on the same page. It's not even funny, because it's crazy, because I get asked, I've done, I think 3, maybe 4 doing the pay-per-view commentary now, sitting cage side. And I get asked multiple times, how do you suppress bias whenever you're sitting cage side? And it's like, it can be tough because you see your friends making that walk.
Yeah.
And you have friends that go to different schools or are affiliated with different teams. So like it's a tightrope walk. But the thing is we want to celebrate the sport as a whole.
Right.
And make sure people are putting eyes on the Dynasty product and what we have to offer in Nebraska, because it's outstanding.
Yeah. Yeah, and we got some good fighters here too, so I train with a lot of the fighters that, are on the card. So I'm familiar with how tough they are, and they need to be represented, a little bit better. And I think Dynasty offers a great platform for that introduction, their introduction into the combat world and into the fight community for the fighters here in Nebraska. So
for sure. And it's funny because I think about some of the things that I've experienced in my short time working with the organization. And it's like, you never know who's going to show up at some fights. Like, both of us got our picks with Bud at one of the last events. Jamal's no stranger. And he's no stranger to your gym either, but, but it's really cool because I think people don't realize how much of an impact our little organization has on the community at large.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, we have a lot of the UFC fighters have come through, like Ryan Jensen, Derek Minner. There's just a lot of people that have transitioned from Dynasty onto bigger cards. So even a lot of people that at Skywalker 101,
Yep.
with all the fighters there that just made big platform fights happen and take place. So Dynasty definitely sets the stage for opportunities for any amateurs that wanted to get involved in the sport to start their career there, and then professionals as well. We have our first bare knuckle fight coming up as
Yes,
well,
I know.
continuing to keep on growing. Muay Thai's coming up. So there's just a lot in the works with Dynasty that's coming down the ballpark. So we're excited. We're excited to be the first combat sports team to promote bare knuckle fight at the Pinnacle Bank
Yes.
Arena. So not only is it going to be Dynasty's first bare knuckle fight, but it's also going to be the first bare knuckle fight at Pinnacle Bank Arena. So we're just continuing to make history here. We're just getting started. So it's going to be an exciting road coming up here.
Oh, I agree. I love hearing all of that. You've touched on everything that I wanted to promote that week. It's fantastic. So,
Yeah.
did you have a mentor before you made the transition to ring announcer? Did you have somebody that kind of mentored you into that role?
I'm actually like a DJ and MC for events and mostly wedding events, but some also corporate events. So I'm used to being on the mic and then just being involved in the sport as well. I actually had a dream that I was gonna be a cage announcer, and so that kind of what sparked me into
Yeah.
pursuing that, and then, anytime you have a desire or a dream that sticks with you, or, God's telling you to pursue, you just gotta say, okay, let me find out more about it. So I did. I shadowed Jeff Houston with BKFC. I shadowed Mike, the old he LFA announcer.
Hmm.
And he was actually the Dynasty announcer when I first started getting into this route, and he kind of helped me along, gave me some tips and tricks that I can use. And it was honestly just perfect timing how everything kind of aligned and came together, because he was on his way out of Nebraska, moving, just in expanding his career as far as the LFA goes. And then I just came into the place. So it was just a smooth transition into that. I honestly didn't think that I honestly never thought I'd be a cage announcer, to be honest with you. If you had asked me like 2 years ago, are you gonna be a cage announcer? I probably would have looked at you sideways like, nah, I'm fired. That's it. That's my only thing to it. And I still train. I will never say I will never fight again, but I have a lot of open doors for me right now, and I'm just going down whatever road that God wants me to go down, and just kind of going with the flow as far as that goes. So
Yes.
whatever's meant for me will be mine, and whatever's not will not. And I'm happy with whatever.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I was just going to say that ladies and gentlemen, if you did not know that and you're still new to the Dynasty product at large, Alexis is a fighter herself. She's got a 2-0 amateur record. And I was going to ask you, do you plan on setting foot in the octagon again as a fighter?
Yeah, I'll never say never. But I'm gonna be 34 this year. So I'm kind of up there now as far as like, age range, as far as like what I can do, just realistically. But I will never say never. It would just have to make
Yes.
perfect sense for me. But I still like to fight. I still like to train. I still like to spar. We have our women's sparring group that meets up once a month, just to get together with other women who are in the combat sports to link up and to get some work in. So I still love it all, so.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what was your trajectory, like your personal interest? How did you find your pathway into the sport, like just from a hobbyist level and as something that you maintain as part of your fitness regime?
Yeah, so I was actually a cheerleader and and did track in high school and college. And then after college, I transitioned to play football actually for the LFL as a quarterback there, and
Wow.
did that for 4 years. I love that. I got out of that and started doing bodybuilding competitions. And then that was very subjective to me, and I like to eat and kind of, I like to know if I win is due to, either I'm typing someone out or, is more point based in that trajectory. And then so I got into combat sports, really to start off with boxing in 2015. And then I transitioned into jujitsu. I fell in love with jujitsu. And that transitioned to Muay Thai. Did some Muay Thai for a while. I really just got into it for fitness. I love the workout of it.
Right.
I didn't ever really think I was going to be a fighter. I did do, jujitsu tournaments and things like that. Thought I was a fighter doing jujitsu tournaments. I'm like, yeah, I got to fight this weekend. Just a match, just a little, role. But yeah, it's a different mindset stepping into the cage for fighting. I was actually, when I first got a fight, I was actually surprised because I didn't think that there was any other girls training because it was just me. I was the only girl in the sport for a long time. There was
Yeah.
nobody. There was nobody else to fight. I had Josette Cotton, but she's in a totally different weight class to me. So there was really no one else around the area. So that was really the holdup. Otherwise, I would have fought. I would have started fighting in 2015. But
Yeah.
there was just no other girls involved in the sport at the time. So
Yeah, one of your former opponents and friend, Hope, and I had this exact conversation about how much potential there is in our area for women's MMA, and it's just really untapped right now. I would love to see it grow more.
yeah, that's what we're working on. That's why we try to offer, that free once a month women's group, even for people who aren't, necessarily involved in the sport, but just come in and try it out because sometimes
Yeah.
as a female, it's hard to go into a combat gym and not know, what's going on without the proper, training and mindset a little bit. And people don't want to just pay. A lot of gyms offer, 2 week for free or whatever, which I think everyone should do. I feel like combat and knowing how to defend yourself is a life skill, kind
Yes.
of like swimming. It's just something that people should know how to do. They just never know when you're going to be caught in a situation. And really not even just combat sports, but just even because combat sports is a little bit different than self-defense. And I feel like all girls especially should know self-defense, and a good foundation is combat sports. So
Absolutely, absolutely. So, fun story. You've met my daughter Liz. She sang the national anthem a few
yeah,
times.
beautiful
So,
voice.
oh, I will. I told her I was talking with you tonight, and she was excited. She wanted me to tell you hello. But
Hi.
her and her brother got into martial arts at relatively different times. Her brother, who is younger than her, he started about, I'd say 2 or 3 years ahead of her. And then eventually her mom was just like, okay, Liz, you need to do this too. Liz was resistant, resistant, resistant. She finally got into it. And the thing is she hates it, but she takes home golds at every single tournament in
Yeah.
sparring that she does, just because she's big and lanky. She's tall and lanky, and she can kick. She can get them head kicks and stuff. She's just so naturally good. It frustrates me because it's like, why do you hate this? You're so good at it.
Yeah. I'm sure that's probably a fluctuating thought too.
Yes.
May like it at some days, and other days she's like, "I don't wanna do anything with this." So, that's just kinda how it goes.
Yeah, she did a kickboxing class for Mercy's Day of Discovery last week, and she called me immediately afterwards, and she's like, "Dad, I think I could do this." She goes,
Yeah,
"I think." She goes, like, I'm like, "You like Muay Thai?" She goes, "No, I'm talking like fitness kickboxing." I'm like, "No, like Muay Thai. You should try Muay Thai, Liz." But
hey, you never know. You never know what will come from that because I feel like a lot of people just get into it first just by, the workout of it. That's
yeah,
kinda where I started as well, was just the workout and, coaches seeing like, "Hey, you need to fight." I'm like, "I do." You know? Oh, lo and behold, so you never know where life.
So your entirety of training, have you spent your whole time training at Skywalker, or have you tried a few different gyms?
No, I've only been at two gyms. I started at a Premier Combat Center,
Hmm.
training with Ryan and Derek, and then I transitioned to Skywalker shortly
Yeah.
after our jiu-jitsu coaches left from Premier, and so I that was the time I left and went to Skywalker.
Well, I like talking about Skywalker in particular a lot. You know, I'm friends with Danny, and we trade texts from time to time. And there is something, and I have to give a little disclosure here. Like, I'm not trying to express bias by any means, but there is something definitively different when the Skywalker team is in the room, like in a good way, like in a good way.
They did a good job, making us all feel like family, and
That's
we
it.
support each other, and we all want the same thing, and we all show up every practice, and put in that work, and we encourage each other. So I feel like just that team ramodity is just something that you can't really replace at Skywalker. It's just we're all in it together. We all call each other bros and sis and all
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
we are like a big family over there. And loyalty is important with us. So
Yes, absolutely. And you can see that. Like anytime somebody goes to a Dynasty event and a Skywalker fighter is on the card, watch the walk to the cage. Like watch how the whole team comes out. And it looks like a congregation, and they are going to church, and it is phenomenal every time. Like I get
yes,
I get chills, and it doesn't matter what song is playing as the walk is happening. I'm like, wow, something big is about to happen. And it's
yeah,
it's inspiring. I love watching it every single time.
yeah. And I think my heart is always pumping really hard anytime one of my Skywalker. Well, really anyone that I know, anyone that I've
Right.
with, because I love all my training partners at Premier too. So really anyone that goes in there that I've personally sparred with, like my heart's always pounding because I want them to do a really good job. So
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes. But that's the beautiful thing about this sport, and it's something I talk a lot on my show. And even Caleb, my co-host on at the desk, we talk about a lot. He asked me recently, he says, Mike, you have everything from musicians to actors, and you spend a lot of time talking with fighters. Why MMA and why fighters? And I'm like, my biggest goal as a fight fan, it's myself, is to dispel any stereotypes that were previously established in the fight community, because the sport has evolved so much, and it has such a legitimate brotherhood and sisterhood attached to it. Two people go into that cage locks, they fight, but they leave best friends a lot of
Yes.
times.
Yeah.
Tell me another sport where you can do that.
There's really I feel like everyone should at least experience that one time in their life. Just go
Yes.
out there and just have that experience just at least once. So that way like not everyone there's probably about 0.3% of the world population can say that they've actually been, in a cage fight standing against someone that is trying to literally hurt you. But at the same time, it is a sport. It's all calculated. There are rules with it as well,
Right.
so it's not it's different than, fighting on the street where there's no rules. That these are actually, there's actually set policies that we have to follow in the cage. So and it's just a good adrenaline dump for me at least.
Yes.
Can't speak for
Yes.
everybody. Not everybody likes it. I feel like I'm a martial artist that just knows how to fight. Like I never grew up, being a fighter or anything like that. I got in it for really mental stability, emotional regulation, because you have to regulate all that when walking into the cage, preparing for the fight, discipline. Waking up and doing the training even when you don't want to do the training. So it really builds it really builds character, and you're resistant to quit, because if you're signed up to a fight, you don't want to just Well, some people do. 'Cause you shouldn't pull out from a fight once you say okay, unless there's,
Right.
some type of, life-threatening injury or something like that, or, you're committed to that.
Yes.
So it just builds character, it builds honesty, it builds a lot. Just
Yes.
preparing for a fight. So everyone
Yes.
try at least one time.
I tell you what, I there is no bigger adrenaline rush for me as a fight fan and as somebody that participates with Dynasty than that drive home after an event is over. I am usually on such a high from everything that has gone on, the wins, the losses, the fanfare,
And now I
all yes,
can't.
yes, the who's who of his who's ever in the crowd or in the cage or what have you. All that said, is there a specific fight on this May 3rd card that you're looking forward to?
Well, obviously, I'm looking for all the fights. We have a couple of Skywalker guys on the card as well. But I'm really excited for the bare knuckle fight. Like I said, it's the first bare knuckle fight for Dynasties. The first bare knuckle fight at Pinnacle Bank Arena. It's the first bare knuckle fight that I'll announce for. So I'm excited for it.
You can take all of this into consideration, all the things that you kind of have interests in, and the fact that, yeah, you do DJs and you DJ and do events and stuff along those lines. What have you gained personally from your experience, not only in the MMA world, but kind of merging those two worlds together?
Well, it made me understand that I'm not limited, and I feel like everyone should not limit themselves to their abilities. Whatever you want to do in life, go and do it. I feel like anyone that has a desire to do something, that desire is there for a reason. So don't let fear stop you. I feel like this was a,
Yes.
a very fear overcoming thing for me to step into this field. Um, but I feel like I was prepared as well. I feel like it was divinely guided. And just go with the flow. I feel like also pray about what you want and trust that, those doors of opportunity will open at the right time. Because sometimes it's all about timing, and delay is not a no, it's just a preparation. So just
Yes.
go day by day, trying to be the best version of yourself, and everything else will fall into place.
So you've been calling events for over a year now. Has there been any intentional or unintentional opportunities that have come your way as a result of calling these events and, you know, announcing these fighters in front of thousands of people essentially once a month, every month? Like, has it provided you another platform that maybe you didn't have before?
I don't really know. I haven't really thought about it like that. When
Yeah,
I'm preparing for these fights, I'm really just thinking about the fighters and, their
yeah.
background and what stats they have and how we can promote them. I help with the
Yes.
little promotion videos for the fighters just to get their name out there as well. So I haven't really thought about how it affects me because I'm really focused on them, and just putting out, their information and doing my best for them so that way they can go in there feeling like people are excited about their fight, and helping people get excited when they come out. So it's really not about me. It's really all
Love
honestly all
that.
about the fighters. But I feel like um people know me more. I don't know, and I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. I try to stay under the radar. But that's just, I guess, comes with the territory of.
Absolutely. And that's definitely where I was coming from with it because, first of all, I got to give kudos to you. Um, Selfless acts of service is something I personally believe that the world needs more of right now. People not so much putting a shine on themselves, but putting a shine on other people and giving people another opportunity to kind of tell their story and, plant the seeds and provide a platform for somebody else. And everybody wins in the end. So I absolutely agree with that. And but yeah, I'm sure you have people that all of a sudden know your name that never knew your name before, that talk to you like your old war buddies.
Yeah. Yeah, people do, like come up or message me or whatever, and we'll just ask questions about fitness or not fit, ask questions about combat and getting involved in the sport, which I feel like just me being a minority as well. It helps reach out to other minorities, so that way they can see like we could do this as well as too. This is a good avenue for people of color to be involved in, because it gives them an outlet. So I've started, what we call the Bully Proof Academy, which is for girls who experience bullying either at school or on sports teams, and just being able to teach them self-defense skills to be able to use not just physical self-defense, but emotional, verbal, mental, emotional, because I feel like it all ties together, and you have to have all of that in order to be able to defend yourself in certain situations. And if kids, especially girls, can learn how to master their emotions, which tends to be a rough one, especially that middle school, high school age, when you have all the cliques and the social exclusion and the physical even sometimes. And sometimes girls just don't necessarily know how to defend themselves in the right way. So we do host those free community events for the public as well, for just girls, middle school, high school girls, to give them the tools and skills that they need to defend themselves. And then if they want to transition into combat sports after that, then that's an avenue as well that they can take. But at the bare minimum, know how to defend yourself.
Yes.
And it's going to look different between people that you know. You're going to defend yourself different with people that you do know versus people that you don't know. So just going over different scenarios with them to help prepare them. I'm big on prevention versus let's fix the problem. What did we do to prevent the problem in the first place? Did we give them and provide them with the tools and skills they needed to address the bullying? Or are we just now waiting for them to have, anxiety and depression and, thoughts of suicide? Because we do see that a lot. And now we're trying to fix the problem, So it's all about prevention, and versus intervention after the problem has already arisen.
Yes, yes. There's so much power in being proactive as opposed to being reactive. I absolutely love that. So if you had the opportunity to have the floor and sell an audience on what they are going to see on May 3rd at the Pinnacle Bank Arena, what is your pitch for the fight night?
Yeah, it's just gonna be a lot of knucking and bucking, literally. We're literally gonna be knockouts, bloodshed. Like we always see at all the Dynasty fights, they're always bangers. We always got stat cards, so there's no disappointment when it comes to any of the fights that we have. Pinnacle, a Bank Arena, May 3rd. It's gonna be the best fight of the night. There's going to be a lot of best fights of the night. We're going to be trying to decide which ones, Nate Morrow, and Brett Minner, main event that night. That's going to be a banger. Those are both really talented fighters. Different degrees of talent, going head to head. That's going to be really,
and they're both so young.
and they are both so young. Yeah. So yeah, that's the best thing, is when you have these young fighters that are coming up, and being able to, start their careers and continue on to be a professional. They're both pros now. They've been around the game for a long time. So it's exciting to see. Of course, I'm like I said, the bare knuckle fight's going to be a great one. Brady Minner is always fun to watch as well. We got Justin Weaver coming back finally. So it's gonna be a lot of good fights. So definitely exciting card. Definitely don't want to miss out. So definitely, if you're in Lincoln, Pinnacle Bank Arena, the place to be. We won't talk about the other promotion that's going on, but Pinnacle Bank Arena is the fights scene to be at. Don't want to miss it.
I love it. I love it. My closing question is my most favorite question. I ask it of every guest that is on my show because I love everybody's answer. And that question is what is your advice for making the world a better place tomorrow than what it is today?
Go day by day, be the best version of yourself each day. Go do everything from the root of love and giving and serving others. And from that, you'll be blessed with abundance. So always come from a place of love.
I love it. Alexis Myers, I love knowing you. I'm so glad we're friends. The world is a much better place with you in it. I can't wait to see you on May 3rd.
Thank you, Mike. It's good seeing you. I missed you last show.
I know. I was in Mexico. I was on vacation. I took all the girls to Mexico for their senior trip, so I get an excuse.
Real settle with that. That's good.